What is dangerous to forget? Do not put water on a grease fire. Do not put water on a grease fire. It will make the fire grow. If you have a grease fire, place a metal lid or flat pan over the source of the fire to deprive it of oxygen. Turn off the heat source. If you can't do a lid, pour baking soda on it. Also salt and damp dish towels, from commenters, or the toaster. My sister once said to me, "Can you check the bread I put in the toaster?" When I opened the kitchen door, the smoke was so intense, I couldn't see more a couple of feet. Turns out, she put bread in the defective toaster some 20 minutes before asking me. It only took 2 hours to get rid of the smoke and a mere 2 weeks to get rid of the smell.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
Please stress this to your kids. To the point of scaring them. I wish I had listened. I caught up when I got a little older, but I still lost one tooth to an internal resorption, had 4 root canals, and lots of other work done. I'd like to add that the threat for poor dental care should not be the dentist. All that does is teach kids to fear the dentist. The threat should be the immense pain, eventual inability to eat harder foods, losing teeth, and having them look like crap. Their inaction needs to be tied to the encouragement of brushing their teeth, not the threat of dental work. Change scarring to scaring because it could be misconstrued, and scarring is a bridge too far. He was being interviewed for a documentary about his missing wife. I think it was his wife, that I think he himself had set up. He was suspected of being responsible for numerous deaths over a decades-long span of time. Over the course of the recording, it became more and more obvious that he had something to do with it. The interviewer brought up some new evidence that got Durst all flustered. I think it was a letter, so he excused himself to the bathroom to compose himself. What he didn't do was take off his mic, and while in the bathroom he essentially, while talking to himself, admitted to killing his wife. He said something like, "What have I done? I've killed her, that's what. I think it's called the jinx. My first award, thank you." Just to clarify, the incriminating evidence was a pair of letters that had exactly the same handwriting and the same misspelling of Beverly Hills. One letter was from Durst to Susan Berman, and one was an anonymous letter to police alerting them of Berman's murder. This was new evidence unearthed during the documentary filming, so Durst didn't know about it. It was revealed to him on camera, which led to him taking the bathroom break and forgetting his mic was on. There was a guy on Reddit that said though he was allergic to shellfish, he loved it. Said he used to take Benadryl before he'd have any. That stopped helping after a while, so he'd just bring his EpiPen when he went out for crab. Haven't heard any more from him in quite a while. That putting a croissant in the microwave for 20 minutes has a different effect than it being in an oven for 20 minutes. Thanks stranger for this toasty at home award. I laughed so hard I farted. For everyone asking why I put a croissant in the microwave, in my country the microwave and oven can be the same machine. I was making fresh croissants from French pastry. I set the time and then accidentally moved the wheel to microwave instead of oven. Always touch possible electric hazards with your knuckles. If you touch your fingers, the jolt might cause you to grab onto the hazard. Okay, well, obviously the best case scenario is to not touch it at all. But sometimes electric workers don't know if something is active or not, so the method above is one option. I was taught this through fixing small things such as light bulbs and electric farm fences. Listen to some of the comments below and ask a certified electrician to do the big things. My husband did this shit. Then miraculously one day months later he was like, aha. I remember well, thank fucking God. I also found he had a safe in the back of drawer with a ton of cash. And a wallet in his old school backpack with $825. He doesn't remember ever putting cash in either. I take care of the finances now. Also, don't put bleach cleaner in your toilet bowl without flushing. There's some ammonia in your waste, and even though it probably won't kill you, it probably won't feel good. I should clarify that you aren't going to create a chemical weapon with the teeny amount of ammonia in your pee. If you're passing out, it's probably more from the bleach fumes. Any possible gas created will be more of an irritant than deadly. Also learned, don't mix bleach and cat piss. Thank you all for telling me a lot of stories about accidentally peeing into bleach-filled bowls, bleaching your litter box, otherwise harming yourself with cleaning chemicals. I grew up in a household that didn't teach dental hygiene. 32, and on Wednesday I start my first of 6 procedures to get my mouth fixed. 6K worth of work. So nervous, but so excited for the future. You all are amazing. Thank you for your kind words. Dental hygiene is so important. If you're nervous with expenses, believe me, of all people. This whole ordeal has stressed me out the last 10 years, never having dental insurance, always working in the restaurant industry. I told my new dentist this 2 weeks ago. He said, "You would be really surprised, there might be a dentist out there that has a legitimate plan for those that can't afford it."
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out. But there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
My brothers and I are allergic to shellfish, but one of my brothers couldn't let it go because he loved shrimp, so he kept eating it every few years to see if he was still allergic. His lips would balloon up like Jinx and we would tell him what an idiot he was, but about 2 years ago, he stopped being allergic. The rest of us are still allergic. He is younger than me, but I now get anaphylaxis from being around someone cooking shellfish these days, which is apparently pretty rare. So his is gone and mine is a lot worse. To clarify, we all developed the allergy when we were around 13 or so. We all had shrimp and such when young. We were especially fond of popcorn shrimp. But we each had an experience where we suddenly had vomiting and diarrhea when we ate shellfish around age 13 or so. I meant when we were each in our teens, so that's separate incidences several years apart. Also, he did not methodically microdose until he wasn't allergic anymore. He just ate a couple shrimp once in a while. Think of that scene in Broad City where Ilana eats the lobster dinner because she knows her tolerance. He also didn't even have an EpiPen. So he's still an idiot. He just got lucky. For a while I would eat at sushi Chinese restaurants without specifying my allergy. They don't always use clean surface spans when preparing different things, so you should specify, and not pay attention to may contain shellfish on packaging. Sometimes my lips would get itchy and swell a bit, sometimes I would get diarrhea, nothing too bad. This was also pretty stupid, but out of all of us, what I was doing was closest to microdosing, and it did not work out for me, as now I get anaphylaxis if shrimp sushi accidentally touches my salmon sushi. I almost died because I was not expecting anaphylaxis the first time I had it. Don't fuck around with food allergies. Always leave a mitt towel on top of the handle after taking it out. I learned to do this after burning my hand, and then having a family member touch it and burn themselves too. I see a lot of people replying to this comment and telling me about their similar stories. I'd like to credit my advice to Chef John from Food Wishes. He has a YouTube channel, that you're not wearing the pants with the keys but went to the store in your joggers for like once in your life, because you were hungover. Because then when you get back and stand outside your door like a proper fool, you realize that your phone is still in your apartment as well. Not that it would matter too much since your flatmate would sleep through a civil war and probably won't wake up for hours. When little Timmy drove his car beyond the open road, he traveled swift and fast and far, and never stopped or slowed. He shook his head and said, "And yet, the pedals down below, I do from time to time forget just which is stop or go." He thought a further moment more, then turned the key inside. I've never got it wrong before. And Timmy fucking died. Apparently it's because inflammable was derived from a Latin word. From this GT, that would make sense if inflammable had started out as an English word. We get inflammable from the Latin verb inflammare, which combines flammare to catch fire, with a Latin prefix in, which means to cause to. This in shows up occasionally in English words, though we only tend to notice it when thane word is placed next to its root word for comparison. Impassive and passive, irradiated and radiated, inflame and flame. Inflammable came into English in the early 1600s. GT, things were fine until 1813, when a scholar translating a Latin text coined the English word flammable from the Latin flammare, and now we had a problem. Two words that look like antonyms but are actually synonyms. There has been confusion between the two words ever since. I repurposed the joggers into a tent and have set up a small shop outside the building that was formerly my residence. I make a living out of selling leeks that I have grown out of the groceries I went out to get that fateful day. It's been 5 years. My flatmate has not woken up yet. Well, some commercials are just turnoffs, but these stick with you exceptionally well, and then, when you are in the grocery store, these are somewhat familiar to you. So you buy the product although the ad was atrocious in your opinion. Whoever though of this strat was a genius. I learned the basics of this one as a kid watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's a scene where they redirect lightning through their body, and they do a 5-minute scene talking about how important it is to make sure the lighting doesn't go through your chest area. That always stuck with me, and once I got old enough to actually learn how it works the non-elemental magic way, I was very thankful to Avatar. Isn't having one password to a password manager program the same as having the same password for everything? Especially if you can access the password manager from online or the cloud, which is basically a euphemism for someone else's computer. That's a proper question. I'm not trying to be a dick. It just seems that one password to unlock the info for all your other accounts seems like a weak link. Not at all, actually. I don't know how technically knowledgeable you are, so feel free to ask for clarification explanation. There are a couple of factors that make a password manager far better than using the same password everywhere. 1. A single website storing your password in plain text or with weak hashing won't give someone access to everything. 2. Anyone who gets one of your passwords through a phishing attack will only have access to one account. To address your other concerns, the password manager doesn't actually know your password, it's encrypted with your master password. If your master password is strong enough, it will also not be a significant weak link in the sense of someone guessing your password.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are two schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge. You know, I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food, I'm going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and it is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.
Your baby is in the backseat of the car. The amount of parents who forget their kids are still in the car after they lock it and roll their windows up is honestly horrifying. Especially here in Florida, cars turn into ovens and will practically fry your infant child inside out. I can't even handle driving with the windows down with no AC. I couldn't imagine what it's like for a small infant who's still strapped in to be sweating and crying for someone to get them out. I couldn't imagine the physical pain of coming back and your child isn't moving and is in a pool of sweat.
I turned 36 this year and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out. But there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillar Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.